All right, Larry Krueger here at Levi's before training camp practice number 18 with a little practice preview. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week in both spots from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Go say hi to Damon, say hi to Mary, get the brisket, and tell them that Larry Krueger sent you. All right. Little preview of training camp practice number 18. What are we going to see today? Well, I think one of the couple of areas that we're really interested to watch today, the wide receivers. I asked Kyle Shanahan today about speed, the speed element at wide receiver, and a wide receiver core has to complement each other. So, the Niners they've got Debo, who can run those crossers and all the stuff within 5-10 yards of the line of scrimmage. They got Jennings, who's, who will run the deep out and can make incredible plays. Then you got Brandon Aiyuk, right? And Aiyuk's can get down the field, and you can run him on a reverse if you wanted to. You can use them all, any number of different ways. But none of them are vertical threats. And we've seen injuries to Danny Gray and Ray McCloud. They picked up a veteran receiver, Anthony Miller, and we're probably going to get a chance to see Miller practice for the first time today. And then it's wide open. I mean, it's Aiyuk and Debo and Jennings, those 3. I think they're going to wind up taking 5. I originally had Danny Gray and Ray McCloud on the roster, but now that those guys are hurt, now the wide receiver competition is a little bit more difficult to assess. Ronnie Bell, I think, is going to make the team, but he's not a vertical threat. Tay Martin's been terrific in practice, and I think they're going to keep 5. So I would say Aiyuk, Debo, Jennings, and Ronnie Bell are going to be on. And then it comes down to a competition for that last spot. And the competition's between Tay Martin, Willie Snead, Anthony Miller, and Chris Conley. I mean, they cut Daz Newsome today. Isaiah Winstead's still in the mix, but I don't think he'll get the spot. So who do you go with between Tay Martin, Willie Snead, Anthony Miller, and Chris Conley? And I asked Kyle about how important vertical speed is, to have that guy who can run off the top of the defense, to have that guy that defenses really respect, that you're going up top to. And he said it's a factor. He said it's absolutely a factor, and I knew it was. For a play caller, speed creates space, and teams defend you differently. If you don't have speed on the field, if you don't have a speed element, they're going to defend you differently. So that all being said, I kind of think that right now, if you said to me, who's the 5 wide receivers, I'd probably go Aiyuk, Debo, Jennings, Ronnie Bell, and I think I'll probably go with Chris Conley over Tay Martin. Even though I love Tay Martin, and Tay Martin's been really good in practice and actually pretty good in the preseason games as well. I think Tay Martin probably winds up getting cut, and maybe they'll try to get him back in the practice squad. I'm sure they will, but he may get snatched up. But if you said to me, who's the 5 wide receivers? Aiyuk, Debo, Jennings, Ronnie Bell, and Chris Conley as it stands today. So that's one area I'll be really looking to watch. The other area is tight end. Obviously George Kittle's going to make this roster. After that, there's no guarantees. Do they keep 3? Do they keep 4? Cameron Latou and Braden Willis are the rookies. Ross Dwelley and Charlie Warner and Troy Fumagalli are the veterans. I think it's wide open. Right now, I have them going with 3 tight ends and then leaning on Latou and Braden Willis, but I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to go. That to me is something to watch for sure. I'm really interested in the other area I really want to see, and I'll be honing in on as we get closer to the August 29th cutdown, is the defensive line. So you got Drake and Armstead and Hargrave, and eventually Bosa's going to sign. You got Cleveland Farrell, Kevin Givens, T.Y. McGill, Marlon Davidson. Those guys are all playing really, really well. So that's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. That means you got probably 2 spots available for Robert Beal, Javon Kinlaw, Kerry Hyder, Alex Barrett, Austin Bryant, and not to mention Kalia Davis, Spencer Wagee, and then anybody else that gets cut. So I think that's going to be really interesting. To me, the only guys who I would have on there right now would be Jackson, Armstead, Hargrave, Farrell, Givens, McGill, Davidson, and Bosa. So that's 8. So that means there's 2 spots available, and I would give Kinlaw and Beal probably the advantage over Kerry Hyder and Bryant and Barrett. And not to mention, Kinlaw and Beal would be the 2 guys I probably would go with. But then there's also veterans that are out there in the free agent market. There's also guys that could get cut in other camps that you really like. So to me, I'm going to be watching, one, does Robert Beal practice? Didn't practice yesterday. What is Beal and Barrett and Bryant and Kinlaw and Hyder looking like in practice? Because those are the guys that are on the bubble, in my opinion. Then at linebacker, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles and Curtis Robinson, I think, are trying to battle for one spot. Maybe even it's possible that neither make it. But I'm looking for that competition to continue. And then in the defensive backfield, Taylor Hawkins has played really well, but he's on the bubble. Isaiah Oliver was given a 2-year deal. I think he could be on the bubble. Quantrez Knight needs to keep pushing because I know he's on the bubble. And then you've got Miles Hartsfield, who's a veteran. He could be on the bubble. Deshaun Jameson, who's a phenomenal return man, but he did have the fumble in the return game. And I think Jameson has proven that he's going to make the roster, but he's got to finish strong. He's got to finish strong. You look at that secondary, they're probably going to keep 10 or 11. I have them right now keeping 11 DBs and five linebackers. And my 5 linebackers are Greenlaw and Warner, and then McCrary Ball, Jalen Graham, and D. Winters, and cutting all of the veteran, Oren Burks, Flanagan Fowles, Curtis Robinson. But, do they keep 5 linebackers? Okay, but then how many corners can you keep? And I think Darrell Luter starts on the PUP list, so they won't open his practice window because they just have so much depth there. But to me, Ambry Thomas, I'm going to be looking hard today at Ambry Thomas, Deshaun Jameson, Miles Hartsfield, Taylor Hawkins, to me, and Isaiah Oliver and Quantrez Knight. I mean, all these guys are up for spots, but they're not, nothing's guaranteed here. So to me, you have a really, really, really competitive defensive line, a very, very competitive secondary. You've got a very competitive wide receiver core, and very competitive tight end. So tight end and wide receiver on offense, D-line and DBs on defense, all going to be very interesting battles to watch today. And then, let's also, make no mistake, there's a pretty good battle going on at place kicker. Jake Moody was the 3rd round pick, and he's the guy, right? But it can be tenuous, and Zane Gonzalez has done nothing in this camp to make you think that he's not ready to kick in the NFL. So you could throw kicker as a spot as well that we'll be watching. Who makes the kicks in practice? So far, Moody's been really good in practice, but we'll see how it all shakes out. So there you go. Jake Moody against Zane Gonzalez. A lot of battles in the secondary. A lot of battles up front to watch on the D-line. A lot of battles to watch for at tight end, and definitely the back end of the wide receiver core. And obviously, we're always watching quarterbacks. So that's how, camp is shaping out. We're going to go out to practice in about 15 minutes, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we see today, and we'll report back after practice. All right, everybody, have a great day. Go Niners. And thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show. Thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.